Women play a critical role in Africa's agriculture and manufacturing sector. Our task is to harness their creativity and entrepreneurial spirit by providing them with the necessary support.
And we value women because you cannot see a woman-owned business in the non-performing loans portfolio in our bank.
So I will any day encourage and support women entrepreneurs.
Women play a critical role in Africa's agriculture and manufacturing sector. Our task is to harness their creativity and entrepreneurial spirit by providing them with the necessary support.
And we value women because you cannot see a woman-owned business in the non-performing loans portfolio in our bank.
So I will any day encourage and support women entrepreneurs.
Women play a critical role in Africa's agriculture and manufacturing sector. Our task is to harness their creativity and entrepreneurial spirit by providing them with the necessary support.
And we value women because you cannot see a woman-owned business in the non-performing loans portfolio in our bank.
I'm representing a cooperative here called Master Women in Mining Industrial Minerals. As women, we came up together to form a cooperative and we
So I will any day
mining manganese.
encourage
Women are facing a lot of challenges as far as the
women
accommodation. So we thought if we came together as women, we can form one voice and we can advocate and see a way of improving the lives of our women.
Women play a critical role in Africa's agriculture and manufacturing sector. Our task is to harness their creativity and entrepreneurial spirit by providing them with the necessary support.
And we value women because you cannot see a woman-owned business in the non-performing loans portfolio in our bank.
Their objective is to empower women in processing, and that's exactly what we're trying to do. So this platform gives us
So
gives us
I will any day
visibility to sell our products to the world. The world gets to know about what women in Mansa,
women
in Zambia are doing. What we find is about industrialization, I've learned about trademark, I've learned about packaging our product and how we can not just talking about sharing this product from where I'm coming from. They're talking about empowering the women. When we empower the women, we're empowering the nation. Women are together.
Moi, c'est Rabiet Mohamed Arzika.
With this simple step-by-step process. Ready? Let's go! Step 1. Click on Loans on your business account dashboard. Choose your beneficiary account or accounts for disbursements. Make sure you get it right. When you're done, click Continue to move on. Step 2. After reviewing your account statement, it's time to select your preferred loan amount and tenor. Enter the amount you want to borrow. When you're all set, click on Continue to proceed. Step 3. It's time for one last review. Go through your account statement once more. Select your preferred loan amount and tenor again. It's a good idea to double check. Input the amount you want to borrow, and when you're ready, click on Continue. And that's it! You successfully initiated your loan application. You're one step closer to fueling your business dreams. Thanks for joining me today, and good luck with your loan application.
Why I use goat milk to do skincare products. After I did my research and I found out that goat milk is good to clear eczema, to clear acne. It protects your skin from sun and cold damage. It's an anti-aging and also naturally exfoliates. That gave me a good reason to come up with products out of goat milk. My name is Anne Shudi. I'm a dairy goat farmer from Kenya. When I milk the goats, I use the goat milk to do skincare products, and that's goat milk face and body cream and goat milk collagen soap. I have 3 product lines from goat milk skincare products. That's one product line, the botanical teas, and also from herbs for the hair care products. The first challenge was actually doing the processing myself. Luckily, the government, our Kenyan government, came into place through Kenya Industrial Research Development Institute to help incubate me and take me through the process after I came up with this innovation. So that made it easy in capacity building to test my product and just show me how to do it right, readiness for the market. I also got to learn about how important intellectual property is. Intellectual property can have actually more value than the product itself. So when the intellectual property is in place, money value of the whole brand is in place. We also learned that trade secrets of how you do your formulation has value. My patenting process it's in process in our country. We learned how to do the NDA agreements, contracts with my staff also. That has helped because I don't have to worry anymore when I put up my products out there thinking somebody will copy my formulation, copy my design, end up marketing, and finally I'm finding somebody is copying the same and making money out of it. So I'm protected. Most MSMEs don't have funds. You can have the idea, but you don't have the money. But when you come in and support them, they're able to grow the ideas in a way. They come up with products. They boost the economy because they end up selling their products, right? And also they get a consumer base and they make money also. When you have an idea, start. I know most people fear to start. However, it is just start your idea. In the process, in the journey, you'll continue building your brand. You have your products together and you get to learn every day from yourself, from others, and out here. Just start.
My name is Matilda Mchong from Dar es Salaam in Tanzania, and I'm a former small scale, but I'm an expert. My company is called Wami Jewelry. It deals with making luxurious jewelry pieces from women mined gemstones to making the final jewelry that can be traded all over the world in the world market. We also work with youth in mining just to bring them up into the mineral value chain. Actually, this is one of those dream come true kind of moments where I never thought I'll be here in first place, but being here has opened my eyes to what really needs to be done in Africa, and the whole broad aspect of how I need to do my business. Having the session that we have been having here since the day we started here have just opened me to more networking, to more how I need to think globally, and to continue working with other women. Currently, the biggest challenge has been funds. Not funds for starting a business, funds for expansion. With that, what I've managed to do, I've managed to secure some funds from the different banks in my country, but the funds that we get, they are at a very high interest rate. How are you supposed to expand? How are you supposed to grow? So that's the challenge, yet we are trying to cater for it in what is available currently, but there's more that can be done into the industry. Well, what African Union is doing is one thing that can be recommended, is something recommendable, and it's something that I really appreciate as a person and as a team. Since I'm here, I represent the team back at home, I represent the women back at home that I deal with, I represent the villages that the Jamestones are mined back at home. So such initiatives, they don't only empower me, they empower the whole community that is behind the business that I've founded. And I'm really looking forward to many more other things that they have planned, because I've had a lot of things that have been planned. Even the challenges that I've said concerning funds for expansion. I've seen that things that African Union has cooperated with other stakeholders in the industry to solve them. So it's a bright future ahead. It's more of the Africa we want. So I'm really happy and excited for that future.
Madame Souré Aminatou Abdou Saleh. Je suis la directrice générale de la société Sahel Infusion qui fait des infusions à base de produits 100% locaux. Nous sommes basés au Mali et nous œuvrons depuis 2013. Nous avons été invités par l'Union africaine pour participer à ce grand événement de grande envergure qui est l'IATF. Donc c'est notre première participation à cet événement et nous sommes très heureux d'y participer. Alors, ce qui nous a motivés, c'est surtout faire connaître nos produits, montrer à l'échelle internationale ce que nous sommes capables de faire avec nos produits locaux et aussi essayer d'amener les femmes qui sont les membres du réseau AWIP à créer une plateforme d'échange pour voir comment est-ce qu'on peut travailler dans un environnement où tout le monde peut travailler ensemble et aller de l'avant dans nos entreprises différentes. Le plus grand défi auquel nous avons eu à faire face en tant qu'entrepreneurs, c'est surtout le défi de l'accès au marché. Vous savez comme moi que exporter des produits locaux, déjà entre nos pays africains c'est compliqué et aller maintenant à l'échelle internationale c'est encore beaucoup plus compliqué. Vraiment nous sommes très heureux déjà que l'Union africaine nous ait appelés pour participer à cet événement de grande envergure et nous sommes Vraiment, nous sommes très heureux déjà que l'Union africaine nous ait appelés pour participer à cet événement de grande envergure. Et nous sommes aussi très sensibles parce que ça veut dire que l'Union africaine s'intéresse aux PME. Il s'intéresse à notre devenir et il s'intéresse beaucoup à notre passage à l'échelle. Entre nous, pays africains, de se connaître, de se côtoyer, de faire du business ensemble, c'est vraiment inestimable. Et on pense que c'est des activités pareilles, ça va
Well,
beaucoup
distinguished
faciliter
ladies and gentlemen,
notre
please
passage
shall be
au
upstanding to welcome His Excellency the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We welcome you, the Vice President. The national anthem, please.
Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land. Though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians old and proud to serve our sovereign motherland. Our flag shall be a symbol that truth and justice reign. In peace all battle honored, and this we count as gain. To hand unto our children a banner without stain. O God of all creation, grant this our one request. Help us to build our nation where no man is oppressed, and so with peace and plenty Nigeria may be blessed.
The AU anthem, please.
Let us all unite and celebrate together the victories won for our liberation. Let us dedicate ourselves to rise together to defend our liberty and unity. All sons and daughters of Africa, flesh of the sun and flesh of the sky, let us make Africa a tree of life. Let us all unite and sing together to uphold the bonds that frame our destiny. Let us dedicate ourselves to fight together for lasting peace and justice on earth.
Thank you very much. Please, let's be seated. Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Senator Kashim Shettima, GCON. Let me welcome Madam Ron Osman Omar and the other members of the AU delegation to this event. I'd like to welcome the Deputy Chief of Staff to the President, Office of the Vice President, Senator Ibrahim Hassan Hadije, the Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Jumoke Oduwole, is here with us. We welcome you. I'd like to welcome all the heads of agencies and parastatals that are collaborating to form the Job Creation and MSME Secretariat. I'd like to specially welcome here an industrious young man, hardworking, extremely focused on the issue of job creation and MSMEs, the special advisor to the President, Office of the Vice President on Job Creation and MSMEs, Mr. Temitola Adekunle Johnson. I'd like to welcome all the stakeholders in the MSME space, development partners, members of the diplomatic corps, private sector operators, participants, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is with pleasure on behalf of the Job Creation and MSME Secretariat and the AU that I welcome all of you to the 4th MSME Forum, AU MSME Forum 2025. A forum designed to connect Africa's MSMEs with stakeholders for growth. It is a forum that will enable MSMEs to be catalysts for the development of the African economy. The African Union MSME Forum has been instrumental in driving programs that reflect the evolving landscape of MSME development. The forum, which started in 2022 in Cairo, Egypt, moved on to Ethiopia and Namibia, and the 4th edition, it is so gratifying to host you in Abuja. It is fitting that the AU is collaborating with the Secretariat because the Secretariat over the years have been amazing, hosting the MSME clinics in over 30 states of the Federation. The shared facilities is there, and the MSME Awards has become the Oscars of the MSME program. So I welcome you to Nigeria as I collaborate with this amazing Secretariat. Ebere Young is my name, and I will not be here alone. I have the delectable, extremely intelligent, who will be speaking to you in 2 languages, more or less, French and English, Leila Balde. Please come over.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ebere. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Bonjour à tous et à toutes, chers invités, excellences, partenaires, collègues et amis. Je m'appelle Lélé Baldé et c'est pour moi vraiment un honneur de vous accueillir aujourd'hui à cet événement important organisé sur l'égide de la Commission de l'Union africaine et en partenariat avec le gouvernement du Nigeria et nos partenaires au développement. Nous sommes réunis ici pour une raison très forte, renforcer la résilience et l'expansion des micro, petites et moyennes entreprises, surtout sur tout le continent africain. Les MPME sont au cœur de nos économies. Elles créent des emplois, favorisent l'innovation et soutiennent la croissance inclusive. It's really truly an honor to be co-hosting this event, and I look forward to what's going to be an amazing day. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And so, to kick us off, let me welcome here the chairman of the host country committee and the deputy chief of staff to the president, office of the vice president. I'd like to welcome here Senator Ibrahim Hassan Hadije.
Le mot de bienvenue par le sénateur Ibrahim Hassan Hadija, président du comité d'accueil et chef d'adjoint de cabinet du président de la République fédérale au Nigeria.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, the Vice President, the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Kashim Shettima, GCON, the AUC Chairperson, the Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, heads of delegations, distinguished representatives of our developmental partners, financial institutions and the private sector, our small business owners, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of His Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, it is my distinct pleasure to warmly welcome you all to Nigeria for the 4th African Union Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Forum. Your presence here today signifies a shared commitment to a prosperous future for Africa, a future where African MSMEs have the opportunity not just to survive, but to thrive. We are gathered here today under a theme that is not just timely, but also central to the realization of the Africa we want. Building resilient MSMEs through digital innovation, affordable financing, and market access for Africa is more than just a topic for academic discourse. It is our continental imperative and a roadmap for unlocking the immense potential of our continent's most vital economic engine, our MSMEs. The importance of MSMEs to the African economy cannot be overstated. MSMEs are the lifeblood of our communities. They account for the vast majority of our businesses and are the primary source of employment for our people. They are also the most powerful vehicle for the economic empowerment of our women and youth. And an investment in our MSMEs is a direct investment in a prosperous, inclusive, and self-reliant Africa. Nonetheless, we are also acutely aware of the multifaceted challenges that our MSMEs face, and it's precisely these challenges that this forum is designed to confront head-on. Over the next few days, let us delve into the heart of these issues, not as insurmountable obstacles, but as opportunities for collective action and innovation. In the following 2 days, we must therefore engage in robust discussions, share best practices, and forge strategic partnerships to harness the power of digital innovation, to enhance competitiveness and operational efficiency of our MSMEs, to unlock new and expand existing market opportunities within the African continent and beyond, leveraging on the transformative potential of the African continental free trade area, and finally, to address the perennial challenge of access to affordable finance by exploring innovative financing models and strengthening our financial institutions to meet the challenge. To our MSMEs, I say this: you are the heroes of Africa's economic narrative. Your resilience, your creativity, and your unwavering spirit are the driving force behind our continent's progress. This forum is for you. It is your platform to connect, to learn, and to grow. And you will do well to maximize this opportunity. Finally, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, together let us seize this opportunity to build a more resilient, innovative, and inclusive future for our MSMEs and for our continent. Once again, welcome to Nigeria, and welcome to the 4th AU Forum on MSMEs. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Please let's appreciate him as he steps down. Thank you. Thank you. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we'll be going straight to the AU, and representing the Honorable Commissioner, His Excellency Moses Vilakati, we have here Madam Ron Usman Umar, Director of Industry, Minerals, Entrepreneurship and Tourism at the Department of Economic Development, Trade, Tourism and Industry, Minerals. I welcome you, Madam. Thank you very much.
Et soyez la bienvenue, Madame.
Merci beaucoup. Your Excellency, Senator Kashim Shettima, GCON, Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Excellency, representative of the regional economic communities present, Excellencies, head of delegations of the African Union member states here present, Your Excellencies, members of the host country organizing committee, Mr. Timitola Adekunle Johnson, MFR, Special Advisor to the President of Nigeria on Job Creation and SMEs, and host country coordinator and committee secretary, Your Excellencies, representative of Development Financing Institution, Your Excellency Massimo De Luca, Head of Cooperation of the EU delegation, Mrs. Elsie Atafwa, Resident Representative of UNDP Nigeria, and all representatives of UN agencies here present, all AUC partners and partners of the host country, all protocol observed, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I will speak on behalf of my Commissioner, His Excellencies Moses Felakati, Acting Commissioner for Economic Development, Trade, Tourism, Industry and Minerals, who could not attend this meeting due to reasons beyond his control. He sends his apologies and extends his best wishes. Let me start my address this morning by thanking the government and the people of the Federal Republic of Nigeria for the warm welcome accorded to me, to the delegation from the African Union Commission, and all invited participants from across the continent. I'm grateful that Nigeria offered to host the first African Union Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Forum, which is being held under the theme Building Resilient MSMEs through Digital Innovation, Market Access, and Affordable Finance for Africa. Micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises remains the backbone of Africa's industrial and economic landscape, fueling job creation, innovation, and production, which are key to achieving the African Union Agenda 2063. This is despite facing significant obstacles ranging from limited access to finance and technology to challenge in formalizing and integration into larger value chains. MSMEs account for approximately 90% to 95% of all businesses on the continent. They contribute around 40% to the Africa's GDP and generate about 80% of employment, according to the Africa Development Bank. The AU MSME Forum is one of the key initiatives under the AU SME strategy aimed at giving a platform for participating enterprises to gain knowledge of various topics that will support them access the continent's integrated market ushered by the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, the ACFTA. The forum remains a pivotal platform for promoting economic growth, job creation, and sustainable development across the continent. This year, focus on digital innovation and market access and affordable financing address the pressing need of our MSMEs to leverage technology and access broader markets. Crucial elements for their growth and competitiveness is today's global economy. Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in today's rapid evolving digital landscape, our MSMEs must embrace digital literacy, e-commerce integration, and innovative technology to remain competitive, not just within Africa, but globally. Digital innovation is no longer a luxury, but a necessity for African MSMEs The COVID-19 pandemic accelerated digital adoption across the continent, and we must build on this momentum. On access to finance, Africa's SMEs face two significant challenges: accessibility and affordability. Our interest rates are on average very high, often above 20%, resulting in 5 out of 7 business failing in their first year. Therefore, we need to rethink our lending regimes and explore solutions to reverse the status quo and work toward achieving a single-digit interest rate for our MSMEs. I'm pleased to recall that on the 27th June 2024, here in Abuja, the African Union Commission and the Office of the Vice President convened a high-level meeting dedicated to this very challenge. The meeting focused on operationalizing the African Financing Stability Mechanism and outlined concrete steps to bring down interest rates for MSMEs to single digits. This initiative marks a significant step toward creating an enabling environment where our small businesses can thrive and contribute meaningfully to Africa's economic transformation. Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, while we push for digital transformation, we must ensure that our financial system evolve to support this transition. Digital financing service, mobile money, and innovative fintech solution can help bridge the financing gap that has long plagued our MSMEs. I am encouraged by the progress some countries have made in developing digital lending platform and alternative financing mechanism. However, we still need to work toward achieving an enabling environment for our MSMEs, as the current rates remain prohibitive for business growth and sustainability. Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me take a moment to briefly highlight our journey so far, as we are just a few days to the 27th of June, the day that was set aside by the United Nations as International MSMEs Day. The decision on having the award the MSME Day was made to raise public awareness of the contribution of micro, small, and medium enterprises to sustainable development at both levels of the national and the global economies, and in the processes of inclusive, sustainable development. After the official adoption of the AU SME strategy, the first edition of the AU MSME was held, as it was already stated here, in Egypt in 2022, the second in Ethiopia in 2023. Last year we were in Windhoek, Namibia, and this year we are gathering here in Abuja, and we thank the government of Nigeria for this. Each of these gatherings has provided capacity building opportunities for MSMEs showcase their business and access to new markets in the ACFTA and the rest of the world. During the third MSME Forum, we launched the inaugural Enterprise Africa Network Fellowship Program with 56 selected business from over 30 African nationalities, and some of them are exhibiting their products here today. Over the last few months, their growth and progress have been remarkable, with significant impact in sustainable agriculture, manufacturing, digital transformation, mineral resource value addition, and creative industries. Just days ago, 7 of these fellows returned from China, where they underwent training on strengthening their e-commerce capabilities and showcase African products in new markets. I'm happy to announce that 2 of the 7 are from Nigeria. A good number of the fellows are here as well, showcasing their product and ideas among other exhibitors from Nigeria and from the rest of the continent. As we gather here in Abuja, let me conclude by calling all stakeholders to undertake the followings. Number one, accelerate digital infrastructure development across the continent to ensure that all MSMEs, regardless of their location, can participate in the digital economy. Number two, focus on blended finance, which is one approach to provide MSMEs with access to the much needed capital for their establishment and growth. Number three, we need to de-risk finance to MSMEs as a means of reducing the cost of borrowing for these enterprises. Number four, strengthen partnership among government, private sector, development partners to create an enabling environment for MSMEs' digital transformation. And last but not the least, support the domestication of the AU SME strategy, ensuring that national policies align with our continental vision for MSMEs development. In closing, I wish to thank the organizers of this year's AU MSMEs, the government of Nigeria, particularly the Office of the Vice President, and heartfelt thanks to you, Mr. Tole Adekunle Johnson, MFR Special Advisor to the President of Nigeria on Job Creation and MSMEs, and host country coordinator and committee secretary, and his dynamic team for collaborating in the preparation of this forum. They have spent hours with our team ensuring its success, and he has been a wonderful architect in hosting this fourth AU MSME forum. I wish also to thank the team from the AUC Department of Economic Development, Trade, Tourism, Industry and Minerals for their tireless effort in making this event a success. Special thanks to our partners, the UNIDO, UNDP, Impact Hair, Afrexim Bank, the European Union Commission, and others for their continued support. Through such collaboration, we can build resilient MSMEs and enhance their market access. I encourage all participants to fully engage in the various sessions and networking opportunities over the next 4 days. Share your experience, learn from each other, and build the partnership that will drive this agenda forward. I will end here and thank you all for your kind attention. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, Madame Ron Osman Omar. Merci beaucoup. Let's put our hands together for her one more time. Thank you so much for that very insightful address, and we definitely look forward to June 27th, which is MSME Day. Thank you again. It is a great honor to welcome onto the stage somebody who has worked tirelessly to put this event together. And to set the scene, let's put our hands together for Mr. Temitola Adekunle Johnson, MFR, Special Advisor to the President on Job Creation and MSMEs, who will set the scene for today's event. Let's keep clapping for him, please. Thank you.
Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the African Union representative, Your Excellency, the Deputy Chief of Staff, Honorable Minister, Trade and Investment, the Industry, States, agency heads, AU representatives, private sector partners, MSMEs, not just in Nigeria, across the continent. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Let me start by thanking the President of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. When we got the approval to host this event, the VP had to go and sit down to brief the president on why we are hosting the event and what will be the benefits for Nigerian small businesses and African small businesses by and large. Mr. President, in his usual style, graciously approved immediately for us to host this event. So, Your Excellency, the task before me this morning is to set the tone for what we're going to be witnessing in the next 3, 4, 5 days. As you all are aware that June 27th of every year has been declared by the United Nations as World MSME Day. And you know that Nigeria will celebrate that in our own grand style. Ladies and gentlemen, we carefully selected the theme for this year's event. Building resilient MSMEs through digital innovation, market access, and affordable financing. Africa, as at March 2025, has a population of 1.52 billion. The entire world, as at the same month, has a population of 8.2 billion. If my math is correct, Africa is almost 20% of the entire world. Almost. You know, it's about 19.6 something, but you know in maths you can move to the nearest figure, so we can say 20%. When you are 20% of any stake, any business, any population, you have a right to sit on the table. Not just a right to sit on the table, you have a right to decide what part of the dining table you want to sit. Our population in Africa should not be a problem to Africa. It is a blessing to Africa. But we must first understand what it is. Africa must first understand its place in the rest of the world. Africa, you see, we have a unique and dynamic population, a youthful population for that matter. Access to funding is a major issue. We in Nigeria have been driving this since 2015, non-stop. The target for our government every time is to ensure that we have a consistent single-digit lending rates to SMEs. That is the only thing that will work. And this government has taken the bull by the horn. In Africa, it is possible because Algeria has a lending rate of 8%. Morocco has a lending rate of 5 to 6%. South Africa is 11%. Rwanda is 15.152%. Tanzania is 15.7333%. So what we're talking about is that it is possible. I mean, if Morocco has consistently had, in short, it just recently jumped to 5-6%. It used to be sub 4%. If it's happening over there in North Africa, it can happen in the rest of Africa. So part of the things we hope to be seeing in the next 3 days is deliberating as Africans on how we can sustain this tempo and ensure that we replicate what is happening, the good things happening somewhere else, we replicate it everywhere in Africa. Your Excellency, in planning this program, AU and some of their partners were insistent on us ensuring that some agencies are a part of it. Of course, naturally, those agencies were going to be a part anyway. But I was curious. I wanted to know why they were particular. DBN must do XYZ, Smedan must do XYZ, and BOI must do XYZ. So I called them that, hold on, we've set up our country committee. Why these agencies So, Your Excellency, it might interest you to know that the feedback I got at DBN, our own Development Bank of Nigeria, has helped about 4 African countries set up their own development banks. I said, what is so special about Bank of Industry? They said to me that they just launched a product that they had been struggling to launch for 15 years. How did they do it? So the truth is that I'm particularly happy that Africans are not too proud to learn from one another. When I went to Indiana at the GEC conference, I ran into another African country, a minister, and I said to her that I will be coming to your country to learn how you people have sustainably reduced the interest rate for SMEs for over 27 years in your country. And Your Excellency, with your permission, I will go there to go and study how they've been able to do this. Because it is possible. When somebody has done a thing, that is a testament or a sign to the other person that it is possible. Ladies and gentlemen, my boss will be speaking at some point. The 2 ministers are here, they will be speaking at some point. I know that the DG Madam will be speaking. The DCOS has already spoken. The truth is that most of what will be said are on what I'm going to be talking about. So it is usually better to hear from the big eagles. Ladies and gentlemen, African Union, I want to thank you. I want to thank your entire team for putting this together. I'm sorry, I know I'm a very tough person to work with, but you see, we are results driven. And I want to thank your team for putting up with me, basically, but I'm sure you are happy with what you have seen so far, but this is just the beginning. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and God bless you all.
Thank you very much. Every time this man speaks on MSMEs, what touches me is his passion. He speaks from the heart. It's as if he's preaching a gospel. Can we appreciate Temitola one more time? Thank you very much. Thank you. Later on, we're going to have a 10 minutes fire chat. You can see them setting up. But first, we'll take a few goodwill messages, and then we'll go to the fireside chat. Let me welcome here Maximo de la Luca, Head of Cooperation of the EU Delegation to Nigeria and ECOWAS, for his goodwill. You're welcome. Thank you very much.
This one? Thank you. His Excellency, the Vice President of the Federal Republic to Nigeria, a very sincere to you and to your staff, the Honorable Minister of Trade, Industry and Investment, the representative, my personal friend, Director Ron, who I had the pleasure to meet again this morning after a few years of not seeing each other. All protocols respected, all agencies already recognized, equally important in this collective effort that we undertake this morning. It is indeed an honor to be here with you at this first micro and small and medium enterprise forum. Good to hear about access to finance. Having been here in the region for some time now and before in my career, we do acknowledge this problem, and we are fully committed, even alongside with our financial institutions, Bank of Industry, Afrexim Bank, We do recognize the problems that SMEs and MSMEs face in access to finance. I'm equally delighted to see that the conference today also talks to the digital innovation and the market access points. In all these points, I'm glad to say that the European Union has been a really steadfast partner of the African Union, and very proud to be so. Very steadfast partner of ECOWAS in our region more specifically, and the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Just very briefly, I don't want to bother you too much about a long list of action, but just to remind ourselves that our EU Team Europe initiative in support of the African economic integration towards the implementation of the Africa Free Trade Agreement, Continental Free Trade Agreement, hovers around 1.1 million euro and covers a lot of aspects that are indeed essential for thriving small and medium-sized and micro enterprises in the continent, including value addition. Just last week, we launched a very important value addition program together with ITC and UNIDO that will benefit selected value chains in the West African region, but also marketing, labeling, sustainability, environmental issue, technology transfer, innovation, business promotion, as well as standards and technical regulations. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, access to market information is extremely important, and to address this major hindrance to trade, the African Trade Observatory was created as one of the operational instruments of the Continental Free Trade Agreement, led by the African Union Commission, with the financial and technical support, respectively, from the European Union, the ITC. The African Trade Observatory is a very useful digital portal tool designed to empower African MSMEs by providing free access to detailed real-time data and information on trade flows, tariffs, market access conditions, and export potentials, which are crucial to identify and compare markets for their products, make informed decisions, and enter new markets across Africa. Another major hurdle related to today's topic of market access is the complexity of international trade regulations, customs procedures, licensing requirements, and documentation. In this regard, the EU supports efforts from the African countries, regional economic communities, and African Union to harmonize standards and regulatory frameworks across the continent through several regional and continental initiatives. This is notably the case of the Team Europe Technical Assistance Facility to support the African Continental Free Trade Agreement and Continental Economic Integration, the EU TAF, as we call it, that has been implemented since 2022 and will run till 2027, and also through the newly launched 200 million EU-funded Africa Trade Competitiveness and Market Access Program, ATCMA, that we launched for West Africa just last week. The same issue is equally addressed directly at the level of micro, small, medium enterprises through various initiatives under the AU, African Union SME strategy, including the African Women in Processing and the Enterprise Africa Network. The Enterprise Africa Network and the African Women in Processing are crucial platforms for knowledge exchange, capacity building, policy advocacy, which also benefit from the EU support to the African Union Commission via the technical the technical Continental Free Trade Agreement facility and the other projects just mentioned. On digital, I would like to underline the importance of the adoption of the Digital Trade Protocol and its annexes adopted in February 2025. This, for us, can be a game changer, and with the regional, national, and continental authorities, we are looking at ways to support its speedy implementation across Africa. For it to work, not only governments have to do their homework of implementing digital rules, but small businesses also need to understand what is in it and how they can benefit from it. Let me say, just in conclusion, just a reminder to make it a bit clearer. In Nigeria, we support small and medium-sized businesses, including micro, in their digitalization effort, and I'm delighted to see Smedan present here because they are an actor, a stakeholder of our efforts that we implemented through the German corporation GIZ. And as I already mentioned, we act at a regional level. With the digital agenda, we are about to start a program on e-governance, e-payment, and cybersecurity that will also be implemented by a number of agencies. It may sound a bit repetitive to hear about projects when we perceive that the situation has not much to improve, probably in these areas over the years. But I would like to, give these programs a chance to make a difference at a time when a difference is badly needed and is definitely there to be achieved. We do believe that no time before today, the region and the continent, mainly thanks to the Continental Free Trade Agreement, they can really offer citizens and MSMEs what they most need. And I really hope that this conference, this forum, may bring this point well to the fore and contribute really to its fulfillment. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much once again, Mr. Massimo De Luca, Head of Cooperation to the EU, Delegation to Nigeria and ECOWAS. The EU is indeed a very important partner. Thank you for being with us today. Next up, we have the pleasure of hearing from Ms. Elsie Atafua, the resident representative to UNDP Nigeria. Let's put our hands together for her as she makes her way to the stage. Madame Elsie Atafua, représentante résidente du PNUD au Nigeria, to give the next goodwill message. You're welcome.
Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Kashim Shettima GCON, Your Excellency Chairperson, African Union Commission, Mr. Muhammad Ali Yusuf, who is represented by Madam Omar, the Chairman, Host Country Committee, and Deputy Chief of Staff to the President, Office of the Vice President, Senator Ibrahim Hadejia. I want to recognize Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Jumoke Oduole. Also recognize the Honorable Minister of State, Industry, Trade and Investment, Senator John Owan Eno, and all other ministers who are here, heads of representatives of government, ministries, departments, and agencies, high representatives of governments of the African Union member states, diplomatic corps, distinguished delegates, MSMEs, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Bonjour. It is truly an honor to deliver this message on behalf of Ms. Ahuna Eziakonwa, United Nations Assistant Secretary General and Regional Director of Africa at UNDP. Though she's unable to be with us in person today, she sends her warm regards and reaffirmation of UNDP's steadfast commitment to the micro, small, and medium enterprises transformation agenda across Africa. Let me begin by commending the African Union Commission and the government of Nigeria for convening this timely forum. Its theme, building resilient MSMEs through digital innovation, market access, and affordable financing, could not be more relevant to Africa's development priorities today. Across our continent, MSMEs are the builders of local prosperity. They employ, they innovate, they adapt. But they cannot thrive on resilience alone. They need ecosystems that work for them, platforms to commercialize innovation, access to working capital, and markets, both domestic and continental, that recognize their value. At UNDP, we believe that Africa's transformation will be shaped by the resilience and brilliance of these MSMEs, particularly those led by youth and women. And we have backed this belief with bold, coordinated action across the continent. Your Excellency, permit me to say a few things that UNDP has been supporting. First of all, Timbuktu. Through Timbuktu, our flagship 1 billion Pan-African Innovation Initiative, we are laying the foundation of a new startup economy, bold, inclusive, and globally competitive. At the heart of this growing network of specialized innovation hubs in cities across Africa, from fintech in Lagos, green tech in Nairobi, mining tech in Lusaka, health tech in Kigali, to smart mobility in Casablanca, agri-tech in Accra, and creative tech in Cape Town. Timbuktu is catalyzing solutions where Africa's talent meets Africa's opportunities. And the network continues to grow. New hubs focusing on edtech and travel tech in Dakar and manufacturing tech in Addis Ababa are in the pipeline, each designed to crowd in capital, de-risk startups, and strengthen sector-specific ecosystems that can create jobs and scale solutions across borders. One of Timbuktu's most powerful delivery tools is the University Innovation Pod, Unipod for short, a high-tech makerspace embedded in public universities. Unipods are now live or underway in 13 countries, including Benin, Botswana, Cote d'Ivoire, Lesotho, Mauritania, our own Nigeria, because we carry first as well, Rwanda, Uganda, and Zambia, and others. These pods give over 10,000 young innovators access to rapid prototyping, augmented and virtual reality rooms, mechatronics labs, green tech workshops, and tailored mentorship to build locally relevant and globally scalable products. The second thing we've been supporting is under the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, and here we are supporting her AFCFTA. We are also seeing the ecosystem again deepening through her AFCFTA initiative, launched to ensure women-led MSMEs are not left behind in Africa's evolving trade landscape. In Nigeria alone, 3,000 women entrepreneurs have received targeted support, unlocking market access, improving product quality, and mobilizing finance. A recent mission to Namibia, the same forum last year, we managed to secure 3.9 million in purchase orders and catalyze 10 million in investments. And Excellency, I should say this morning when I was coming into the room, one of the women whom we had sent to Namibia, her eyes were open and really very excited. He said I was one of the two that was sent also to China to explore opportunities. Now, talking about AFCFTA, I'm also delighted that together with our Minister of Trade, Dr. Jumoke, we launched Africa's and Nigeria's first intra-Africa freight corridor with Uganda Airlines. And with this, we've managed to cut cargo costs by 50% and created new market linkages for MSMEs from Nigeria to Uganda, Kenya, and South Africa. And one of the women saw me this morning and said, my goods have arrived in Kenya. So this is what AFCFTA really means. When barriers fall, trade rises, and small businesses scale. Very quickly, and thirdly, one of the things we have been supporting as well is the Youth Connect Africa. Through Youth Connect Africa, now active in over 30 countries, we are fostering a generational movement to transform education, entrepreneurship, employment, and health. The initiative has reached over 12 million youth, created 40,000 jobs, and nurtured thousands of startups across sectors, from sustainable fashion in Ghana to health tech in Rwanda and carpentry for peace building in Liberia. This platform is creating not only entrepreneurs, but leaders for Africa's future. So as we are in Nigeria, let me say a few things on what UNDP is enabling in Nigeria. In Nigeria, these continental ambitions are being realized through a deliberate and distributed innovation infrastructure designed to unlock talent, de-risk entrepreneurship, and link MSMEs to markets and capital. In partnership with the federal government and under your leadership, Excellency, we are rolling out 10 university ports by the end of 2025 and 26 others within 36 months. In other words, we want to be able to do 36 uniports in 36 months in 36 states. These ports are aligned with regional economic strength, from mineral value addition in Nasarawa, which will be the first of its kind in the country, green tech in Akwa Ibom, to innovation nexus programming in Borno, agri-tech in Benue, industrial transformation in Abia and Kaduna. These ports bridge academia, industry, and government, turning knowledge into jobs and campuses into growth engines. In some, these are spaces where we are turning ideas into prototypes, prototypes into businesses, and businesses into industries. Our Timbuktu FinTech Hub in Lagos has placed Nigeria at the center of the continent's digital startup ecosystem. Our Innovation Center in Lagos continues to support startups and business, while our Young Africa Innovates program, in partnership with MasterCard Foundation, has funded and mentored 173 young youth-led enterprises selected from more than 9,000 applicants in the country. In undeserved areas, we are revitalizing old infrastructure into community entrepreneurship and innovation hubs, retooling libraries and vocational centers in Abuja, in Anambra, in Ekiti, in Kwara, in Niger, in Plateau, and so on and so forth. Here, MSMEs can have access to 3D printers, agro-processing equipment, solar kits, and textile machines. And I'm happy Smurdan DG Charles Odi is here. We've done some exciting work with Smurdan as well in Idu. So together, these platforms form a nationwide innovation pipeline, connecting grassroots creativity to national priorities and continental opportunities. Through this system, startups are de-risked through technical support, co-location with research and development facilities, and blended financing pathways. MSMEs are empowered with market intelligence, digital tools, and financing platforms that reduce cost and build resilience. And regional trade is activated as Nigeria's businesses enter new markets and with real capacity, not just ambition. Already, we know that over 12,000 MSMEs have also been supported, particularly Nigeria's first AFCFTA compliance shipment, which was successfully delivered under the Guided Trade Initiative. This is how we build resilient MSMEs, through innovation that is local and scalable, financing that is inclusive and smart, and trade that is accessible and transformative. But we must go further. To unlock the full potential of MSMEs, we need public and private capital to de-risk and co-invest, especially for women and youth-led enterprises. We need trade diplomacy to work for our small businesses, not just the big firms. We must go beyond resilience to skill, because Africa's MSMEs are not just surviving, they are ready to lead, and they are leading. This is why UNDP stands firm with the African Union, ECOWAS, member states, private sector to expand regional value chains, deepen AFCFTA readiness, and redefine competitiveness from the grassroots. Let us build ecosystems that match ambition of our people. Let us put capital behind creativity, infrastructure behind ideas, and policy behind potential. Africa's MSMEs are not just participants in growth, they are the future of it. Let's power them forward. And Excellency, let me end on the lighter note by saying that to support our MSMEs, I also came dressed up in things that they have done. So I wore my kente from Ghana. I took my ashoke, which is made in Nigeria. My bag is made in Nigeria. My jewelry is made from Zambia, and I'm waiting to get my first shoe from Aba. Thank you.
You deserve for us to say Akwaba to you. Her oratory has a lot of energy, power, and clarity. Thank you very much. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, our time is far spent, and I just want to appeal to the next speakers on the goodwill messages to shorten it as much as possible. Let me welcome our next speaker, who is an author, an entrepreneurship development expert. He believes clearly that the heart of a community is the MSMEs. When MSMEs grow, the community thrives. I'd like to welcome here the DG and CEO of SMEDA, Mr. Charles Odi. And he has promised me to make it very short.
Your Excellency, the Vice President and the Chairman of the National MSME Council, Senator Kashim Shettima, the father of SMEs in Nigeria, the AUC Chairperson, the Deputy Chief of Staff, Senator Hadija Ibrahim, my honorable ministers here present. Please let me introduce my honorable ministers here present, both of them. We have the Honorable Minister for Trade and Investment, Honorable Jumoke Oduwole. Please a round of applause for her. And we have the Honorable Minister for State for Industry, Senator John Ewan Eno. The head of delegation and ambassadors, especially those from the AUC, the EU, and UNDP. My brother and friend, the special advisor to the President on Job Creation and MSMEs, all heads of government agencies here present, members of the private sector, gentlemen of the press, and our small and medium businesses here present, I say good morning to you. Good morning to you. Let me congratulate the African Union for the 4th MSME Forum happening here in Nigeria. A couple of things have happened since we met in Namibia last year, and I'll just highlight 3 of them. And on behalf of the 39,654,385 nano, micro, small, and medium enterprises across the 36 states and the FCT, we welcome you to Nigeria. The first important thing that has happened since we met in Namibia is His Excellency, the President, earmarking the sum of 200 billion naira for single digits financing in Nigeria. 75 billion naira for large enterprises at a single digit interest loan, 75 billion for small businesses, and 50 billion naira grants for our nano businesses across the 36 states and the FCT. Please, I think it deserves a resounding applause. Now, I said grants, so they don't have to pay back. 1 million of our nano businesses will receive at least 50,000 naira each. I think His Excellency the President deserves a resounding applause for that. The second thing that has happened since we met in Namibia is the constitution of our National MSME Council. Now, this is a council that has cascaded to the states. What it means is that if a small business in Aba or in Anambra or in Yobe is having a problem, the first point of call is their business member organization. If that problem cannot be solved at that level, then it goes to the SMEDAN state offices. If SMEDAN at the state office can't solve it, then it goes to the state national council, the state council of SMEs. And at the state level, this is chaired by the different governors. If that problem cannot be solved, then it comes to the secretariat, which I chair as the secretary. If I can't solve it, I go to the father of SMEs, who is the chairman of the National Council. If the vice president cannot solve that problem, he will take it to the president. I often joke that if the president cannot solve your problem, please take the problem to God. But I don't think that there's no problem that cannot be solved through this National Council of SMEs. And as a result of that, we've collaborated with other state agencies, and I'm happy to announce that we have our AEO program with the Nigeria Customs Service. This is a program where our small business owners do not actually spend more than 24 hours to export their products from Nigeria. And Your Excellency, there's one phenomenal entrepreneur here. She's actually above 70, the CEO of Leluk. Mrs. Leluk, if you're here, just wave to the crowd. Yes, she's over there. Right now, all our products, she makes Ankara bags, Ankara products. Our products do not spend more than 24 hours in Nigeria before it's exported. This is as a result of the work that we're doing at the National Council. And you have also mandated us. We've started to solve for single-digit financing, and we are very, very positive that before the end of our next meeting, we'll have resolved that in Nigeria. The last thing that has happened is our ecosystem strategy. It is something themed around grow. Please tell your neighbor, grow. G-R-O-W. It's only 4 things that we do at SMEDAN. G stands for guidance, R stands for resources, O stands for opportunities, and W stands for workforce support. Supporting His Excellency the President's Nigeria First policy, we are supporting that with the Grow Nigeria policy. We're helping our small businesses with all the guidance, all the resources, all the opportunities, and all the workforce support that they need to grow. And that's our theory for change. We believe that with the right guidance, with the right resources, with the right opportunities, and the right workforce support, any nano business can metamorphose into a micro business, any micro can turn into a small, and a small to a large enterprise. And that's the work that we've been doing in the last 18 months. And so Grow Nigeria has metamorphosed into the 8 priority sectors that we're focused in SMEDAN. The first is Wear Nigeria. What I'm wearing today is made by Nigerian entrepreneurs, from top to the bottom. And Madam Ambassador, we would like you to enforce the Nigeria First policy. The things from Ghana and from Zimbabwe, we would like to replace them with Nigeria-made products. It's Nigeria, from the farm to the dining table, that whole value chain. We are there supporting our farmers with fertilizers, with inputs, and also perfecting the value chain to make sure that we help with our President's Job Food Security Initiative. Patronize Nigeria. Where Nigeria has spoken about, listen and watch Nigeria. Our Nollywood and our podcast and our music is growing in leaps and bounds. And we want to continue to support our entrepreneurs in that. Digitize and innovate Nigeria. And last but not the least, produce Nigeria, helping with our local manufacturers to increase productions. Your Excellencies, I want to thank you for coming. And I know that the hurdles and the challenges that are faced with our small businesses in Ghana are very similar to those that are faced in South Africa, in Namibia, in Congo. And we are we're looking forward to solving this problem as a collective, sharing ideas, sharing knowledge. And I'm very sure that at the end of this forum, we will have a better ecosystem for our small businesses across the continent. There are a couple of panel sessions that are going to happen in the course of the week, but the one that's very much important to us, that touches my heart, is the MSME Awards, which is happening on Thursday. Your Excellency, small businesses have won cars. Small businesses have won rent for the whole year, just helping to cushion the effect of doing businesses. And I want to thank Honorable Adetola Johnson for helping to champion this. And if we're not too busy, please, with a resounding applause, let us clap for His Excellency the Vice President. Please clap, 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 clap. I think we can do better than that for the Vice President. Should we stand up? Please keep clapping for His Excellency the Vice President. Please. We can do better than that. Thank you so much. Do we know why we're clapping? No, sir, please sit down. We talk about, I spoke about 39,654,385 nano, micro, small, and medium enterprises. Everyone who comes here will say SMEs are the bedrock of the economy. SMEs are this, SMEs are that. The number one person that has not paid lip service to these SME problems is His Excellency the Vice President. Every time I go to him, he's willing. Mr. Vice President, there are 5 people that are in the country and talk, bring them. Mr. Vice President, this policy in this state, they're not helping with SME. He said, I will call the governor. He has not for once relented in the efforts for small businesses and resolving the issues of small businesses. Please, I think it deserves a resounding applause. Oh, on that note, I want to thank you. And I look forward to hosting you with the Special Advisor to the President at the National MSME Awards. It promises to be exciting. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Thank you. Let's put our hands together for Dr. Charles Odi, Director General, SMEDAN. Thank you so very much for your insightful keynote and message on the importance of MSMEs. And before we take our last goodwill message, I'd like to ask the audience, who here is wearing Made in Nigeria clothing? Just please put up your hand if you are. Great. Okay, clap if you're wearing Made in Nigeria clothing. Clap for yourselves, clap for yourselves. That's amazing. So last but certainly not least, please let's put our hands together for Dr. Olasupo Olusi, Director General of the Bank of Industry of Nigeria, le Directeur Général de la Banque d'Industrie du Nigeria. Let's put our hands together for him, please.
Thank you. Of course, I won't go beyond that. Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Kashim Shettima, GCON, the representatives of the African Union Chair, the Deputy Chief of Staff to the President, honorable ministers here present, members of the diplomatic corps, colleagues, heads of agencies, development partners, and MSME champions across Africa. Good morning or good afternoon to you now. And please allow me to stand on already established protocol. It has been said already that it is an honor, of course, to be part of this pivotal gathering of stakeholders committed to advancing inclusive economic growth across Africa. I'm especially pleased that Nigeria is hosting this year's AU MSME Forum, and this underscores the importance of this segment of enterprises to Nigeria, and it underscores this importance to the vision of our leader, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's Renewed Hope agenda. As a result of his vision, the Bank of Industry has prioritized initiatives that strengthen the MSME finance ecosystem. We've expanded our reach to interventions through grassroots engagements, targeted funding programs, and capacity building support for entrepreneurs across critical sectors of our economy. We've recognized the evolving needs of small businesses, and we're also investing in institutional reforms, digital tools that will improve service delivery, enhance client experience, and lay the groundwork for a more agile, responsive financial mechanisms. This forum, for us, is more than a platform for dialogue. It is a catalyst for collective action. The conversations over the coming days must shape the trajectory of MSME support across Africa and must drive the bold steps needed to place MSMEs at the center of our industrialization, job creation, and prosperity agenda. No viable business should be left behind due to lack of access to markets, finance, and other instruments of growth and development. On behalf of the Bank of Industry, I want to reaffirm our commitment to empowering African MSMEs, advancing national priorities, and supporting the African Union's MSME development strategy. We know that behind every small business, there is a person with a dream. We at BOI, we do everything we can to ensure that those dreams become a reality. And in closing, I want to commend the AU Commission, the host country committee, and all power partners involved in convening this forum. I wish all participants fruitful deliberations and tangible outcomes that will advance the aspirations of our MSMEs across the continent. Thank you, and God bless you all.
I think we need to appreciate him more because he stuck to time. He delivered in 3 minutes. Thank you very much. The Managing Director, Chief Executive of the Bank of Industry. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, before Ambassador Falabioke speaks to us, we shall be taking 10 minutes to watch the fireside chat. Our moderator for the fireside chat is Precious Agecheta, private sector development expert African Union Commission, and they'll be taking a look at catalyzing MSME resilience, harnessing digital innovation, expanding market access, and unlocking affordable financing in Africa. So as Precious is coming up, well, we are having adjustments to the program. And now we have said that the African Union 6 region global should just give us his own goodwill as short as that of the managing director of Bank of Industry. And I'm very sure he's my friend. He will make his goodwill message very bankable. So let me welcome here Ambassador Afolabi Oke.
Good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to very quickly thank the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for accepting to host this AU MSME Forum. I'd like to very quickly acknowledge His Excellency Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Senator Kashim Shettima, GCON, Chairman of MSME. We're indeed very proud of you, sir, for all that you do and helping to give hope to the seemingly bleak future of a lot of the MSMEs. Minister of Trade and Investment, Dr. Olajumoke Omoniyi Oduwole, MFR, we want to thank you for your contribution. She was at the just concluded West African Economic Summit with the deal room, which led to the bilateral agreement between Benin Republic and Nigeria. Please, a round of applause. Thank you very much. Minister of Arts and Culture, Tourism, Creative Economy, Barrister Hannatu Musawa, thank you very much. Managing Director of BOI, Private Sector Partners, Diplomatic Corps, AU Chair, and all AU representatives, members of Diplomatic Corps, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all other protocols duly observed. Very quickly, in July 2003, at the second ordinary session of the Assembly of Heads of State and Government of the African Union in Maputo, Mozambique, the AU made a groundbreaking decision to recognize the African diaspora as a sixth region of Africa. This resolution marked a historic shift, acknowledging Africa's living outside the continent as integral contributors to the Africa's unity, progress, and development. This recognition was later reinforced during the Global African Diaspora Summit in Johannesburg, South Africa in May 2012. The summit established the Africa's diaspora right to participate in AU processes and laid the foundation for structured engagements between the continent and its diaspora communities. And its mandate is basically to strengthen social, economic, cultural, and political ties between Africa and its diaspora, promoting Pan-African identity, dignity, and heritage, facilitating diaspora contributions to trade, education, entrepreneurship, arts, technology, and governance. Also championing reconnection, reintegration, and return of the diaspora to the continent. Engaging diaspora leadership to co-create solutions for Africa's development. It is in line with the AU theme of the year, Justice for Africans and People of African Descent through Reparation. The African Union has designated this 2025 as the year of justice for Africans and people of African descent through reparation. This theme reflects AU's unwavering commitment to acknowledge and redressing the lasting impact of slavery, colonization, apartheid, and genocide, seeking global accountability and reparatory justice, strengthening advocacy for human rights, dignity, and social economic restitution for African people globally. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the African Union 6 region stands firmly with this call for justice and is mobilizing diaspora leaders, policy experts, faith communities, cultural organizations, and economic institutions to ensure this vision becomes a reality. On behalf of the Secretary General of the African Union 6th Region, Dr. Macaulay Kalu, it is with great pride that we announce today, this special day, the appointment of Mr. Temitola Adekunle Johnson, MFR, as the Special Advisor to the African Union 6th Region on Job Creation and MSMEs. I think he deserves a round of applause. Mr. Johnson, currently serving as a Special Advisor to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria on Job Creation and MSME, has been a strong pillar to the economic empowerment of Nigerians, driving policies and programs that uplift thousands through access to financing, skills, and development. This new role within AU6R recognizes his excellence in public service, his visionary leadership, and his commitment to economic transformation. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this appointment is in alignment with AU6R's mandate and the AU 2025 theme of reparatory justice. Economic empowerment is justice, job creation is restitution, inclusion is reconciliation. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, may I please humbly welcome His Excellency, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Kashim Shettima GCON, to please help present this very special package and recognition to this young gentleman that has been making impact not only in Nigeria but globally. May I please request that we present this special award to Mr. Adekunle Johnson. Please, a round of applause for this amazing. Thank you very much. God bless you, sir. Thank you for all you do, sir. God bless Nigeria. God bless you all. Thank you. Please, one more time, a round of applause.
Thank you very much. And so very quickly, we'll now take our fireside chat. Precious is here. Precious, please take over. And let me welcome here the Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Jumoke Oduwole, to please step forward.
Good afternoon, Nigeria. Thank you. Good afternoon. Well, good afternoon, excellent. Joined with me here is the Honorable Minister. But please, before I begin, Your Excellency, the Vice President, please permit me to stand on existing protocol. Thank you. For this opening fireside chat, I have a distinguished woman, a reform-driven leader, who has previously served as a special advisor to 2 Nigerian presidents, where she led over 200 business climate reforms through the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council. She's a respected voice in economic policy, trade negotiations, and governance. She's recognized with the National Honor MFR in 2023 and inducted into the MI Hall of Fame in 2024. She's an academic at heart. She teaches international economic law at the University of Lagos and holds degrees from University of Lagos, Cambridge, Stanford Law School. So you know the material we're dealing with today. Please put a round of applause for her. The theme of this fireside chat is catalyzing MSME resilience, harnessing digital innovation, expanding market access, and affordable financing in Africa. She'll be giving us a perspective from the national context, and hopefully with the distinguished guests here, we can scale to our various countries and continent at large. Welcome, Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. So this is going to be a fireside chat, basically a conversation between the both of us, and hopefully the audience will benefit from this very immensely, as this will set the theme for the rest of the forum. But before we begin, I have a question. How do you, as a Nigerian minister, ensure, because I know Nigeria has made significant strides in trade and investment, what are some policies that the country has taken in unlocking and improving micro, small, and medium enterprises?
That's an interesting question. Your Excellency, the Vice President, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'll start with the Vice President. He's the chair of the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council, which I had the privilege of leading for about 8 years, which works on business climate reforms across the board, all arms and levels of government, from the federal agencies, over 50 of them, to all state governments, to the National Assembly, the judiciary and private sector. In the PEBEC, the coordination to deliver reforms is specifically targeted at MSMEs, which are nearly 50% of Nigeria's GDP. The PEBEC also works on large businesses and across various sectors. So just starting in addition to all what the MD of Smedon said over here, His Excellency has championed across the board on different categories that target reform across the MSME sphere.
That's very impressive. At this juncture, I'm tempted to say, please let's give a round of applause to His Excellency, the Vice President of Nigeria. Now, while we're still gaining the momentum, I think it's also keen to mention that I am Nigerian, a proud one, and it's an exciting moment for us to see what the Nigeria Trade and Industry Ministry is doing. In addition to the opening question, I would like to ask, what role do you think government policies should play in creating an enabling environment for private sectors? Because I know at least half of this room are MSMEs, and they're very keen on knowing how is the government creating those spaces to ensure that they are able to scale?
So that question is actually quite similar to your first question, and I'll talk about what the government is doing in addition to what the government should be doing, so I'll layer them together. So I've talked about the PEBEC, and you've heard about the interventions from Smedon, and I can speak to the work from the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment. We spend quite a bit of time in addition to focusing on industrial reforms, whether at a large scale or smaller economic zones, to attracting and especially retaining capital into Nigerian investment. So investment retention leads us to working with businesses across the board, from nano all the way to platinum, which are businesses that have a turnover of over $1 billion per annum, and different stratas, the different interventions for those businesses. So retaining investment in the economy speaks to the stabilization that His Excellency, Mr. President, has been on, whether monetary, whether removal of subsidies, structural adjustments, whether unifying the foreign exchange to make sure there's stability, the tax reforms, the bills are still before Parliament. These are the systemic interventions at the macro level that deliver a stabilized business environment. You would know from the ratings with Moody and Fitch that the international community has already been very pleased with the stabilization and the trajectory that this administration is pursuing. In addition to that, the mobilization of investment. Mr. President, as the Chief Investment Officer of this economy, in 2 years has galvanized over $50 billion of foreign investment announcements, and it's our job at the ministry, through agencies under us such as the NIPC, to track and to make sure that that money comes home. In the area of trade policy, if you want me to go on or if you want me to stop?
I think you can touch on that.
Okay, so in the area of trade policy, we champion AFCFTA, which is squarely within the remit of our collaboration with the African Union, with the AFCFTA's Secretariat. We're digital trade co-champions, and that means that we represent Africa in galvanizing attention, capital, and investment in the digital trade space. And why is Nigeria a digital trade co-champion? It's because that is where Nigerian businesses, particularly MSMEs and our startup ecosystem, are competitive. Over 50% of the unicorns across the African continent are Nigerian extraction. Nigerian businesses thrive in that demography. MSMEs layer a lot of automation and technology in what they do. So Mr. President believed that being digital trade co-champions and leading the continent on that particular agenda It speaks a lot to over 200 million Nigerians and where this economy is going.
Thank you very much. And I think while you were speaking, I already hear the synergies between what the ministry is doing and what the agencies under it are also doing, because when Smeaton spoke, he spoke about some of these initiatives. But very specifically, what is Nigeria doing to push single-digit interest loans? I know it's been touched on a couple of times. So what have been some of the challenges, and how is Nigeria looking at some of these problems?
So thankfully you have the Managing Director of Bank of Industry here who also touched on that. I also have the opportunity of working closely with the central bank governor. When you talk about single-digit interest, it's not an issue that you can take alone in isolation. It speaks to balancing inflation, it speaks to shareholders' funds and a lot of things. But the government and state governments, I should also commend state governments who have partnered in terms of matching funds to reduce the cost of capital. And we continue to have different interventions. I believe I saw the MD of Nigerian Export-Import Bank as well, Nexim, also under this ministry, continue to working with businesses to de-risk. We also spend quite a bit of time working with development institutions to make sure, development financial institutions, to make sure that we're able to de-risk some of the transactions, mostly at the larger level, but that also affects the ecosystem. So there are a number of interventions that this administration has led with in terms of making sure that we prioritize cost of capital, affordability of capital, the ease of movement of capital, payment solutions, digital public infrastructure, and all the things that will power the operationalization of the AFCFTA.
Please give her a round of applause. Some of these challenges are not a quick fix, and I think that's one of the message we need to put out there. We're really keen about single digits interest loans. We know that this is top of mind for Nigeria and other countries on the African continent, and it's interesting to see what Nigeria is doing proactively to ensure that this comes to fruition. I'm going to ask a very short, sweet question. What sectors do you think are the most promising sectors in Nigeria where MSMEs can quickly capitalize on expanded market access, and what support do you think they require to scale?
Well, the first thing is digital trade, layering all their businesses with technology, with AI, that trajectory. The agribusiness space is a great one. His Excellency is also a champion of that space. Light manufacturing is where Nigeria leads. The country rep of UNDP spoke about the collaboration, the air cargo corridor with Uganda Air. We also with UNDP, released a market intelligence tool that maps where Nigerian MSME goods are in demand in 13 southern and eastern African countries. And so what this does is it gives the market intelligence from snacks like plantain chips to fashion like clothes that we're wearing, and which countries are in demand, and then the logistics and trade facilitation to get the goods there. So with light manufacturing, with agribusiness, the creative sector is also doing really well. Services, outsourcing of services, the National Talent Export Program under Mr. President's leadership is also another area. There's also OTNI under the leadership of His Excellency the Vice President. This is outsourcing of business services. Nigeria's GDP is now over 50% services. It's also an area where we're very competitive. And right now, under NATEP, over 2,000 Nigerian youth are already having outsourced business services, and they're earning hard currency from software engineering to different productive jobs. So that's another area and another reason why we go there, because whether it's goods, whether it's services, these are areas, what we need most is productivity and competitiveness.
Thank you very much. So for the MSMEs in the house, if you are still thinking of your business ideas, this is just a free consultation. Now you know the areas that are thriving. And then just before we wrap up, in line with the theme of the 4th AU MSME Forum, what would you say a digitally enabled, regionally connected, and well-financed MSME ecosystem looks like in practice?
It looks like $1 trillion for the Nigerian economy.
Thank you very much. And as this is my last question, I promise. As we conclude, what is one concrete commitment that your distinguished office can make in the next 12 months to advance MSME resilience through the approaches that we've discussed?
We already made it. We inaugurated the Central Coordination Committee for AFCFTA operationalization and domestication in Nigeria. So that means all the regulations, legislation that are needed to empower and enable our MSMEs to export. I didn't finish talking about all the pillars under the FMITI and what we have in store for our stakeholders, but all the coordination needed to empower them to scale and to export across the continent is being well coordinated with all the necessary players in attendance, from customs to SON to everyone, whether NAFDAC, both within the FMITI family and beyond. And so we're delivering a coordinated government of Nigeria response to MSMEs to support them as they go across the continent. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was indeed the last question. So please, let's give her a round of applause, and looking forward to all the other sessions of the forum. Thank you very much.
Very good question.
Thank you very much. And let's appreciate her. She's stepping down. The Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment. We appreciate you. Thank you very, very much. And Precious, that was a beautiful job you did. Thank you. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome for the last goodwill message the Managing Director of Nexim Bank, Mr. Ababelu.
His Excellency, the Vice President, Senator Kashim Shettima, GCON, the Deputy Chief of Staff to the President, Senator Ibrahim Hassan Eja, Honorable Ministers from Industries, Trade and Investment, the Head of Cooperation, AU, Delegation to Nigeria, and ECOWAS, Mr. Massimo, Ms. Elsie Atafua, UNDP representative, Mr. Tola Johnson. I think everybody has spoken so much about you today, and I'll be amiss if I don't recognize you too. Heads of agencies, my colleagues here present, all the MSMEs here present, ladies and gentlemen, let me stand on protocols established. I am pleased to be part of this forum. And we are proud as Nexim Bank to be part of those who made this possible. This is because of our belief in the opportunities of MSME, the opportunities that MSMEs have to build the economies across Africa in general and Nigeria in particular. So this event is organized as part of AU's Agenda 2063 of Sustainable Development, designed to create a platform for stakeholders to collaborate, to share insights, and develop strategies to support the development of MSMEs. It is therefore a homegrown approach to Africa's development efforts. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, for far too long, Africa and its development aspirations have been heavily dependent on the external markets, while ignoring the huge opportunities that are available within the region. However, recent global developments, including COVID-19 pandemic, the growing trade and economic protectionism, particularly with the new administration in the United States, as well as other geographical tensions in Europe and the Middle East, have further underscored the need for Africa to look inwards and develop its regional value chains. All hands must therefore be on deck to support this initiative. It is very heartwarming to note that the commencement of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, AFCFTA, has been a major step in the right direction as part of efforts to improve the regional trade performance, which has been muted at 15% in Africa. We need to facilitate and forward the single market of these 1.3 billion people and a combined GDP of $3.4 trillion. The success of this treaty will, however, be largely dependent on the efforts to boost productivity of our MSMEs through opportunities to leverage partnership, align regional policies and strategies, as well as the cross-fertilization of ideas, which is the key objective of this forum. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is in this light that Nexim has been promoting MSMEs in Nigeria. It is to position those SMEs to play in the regional and global markets through funding interventions, and other trade facilitation role. Indeed, our activities strongly aligns to today's theme, which is building resilient MSMEs through digital innovations and market access and affordable financing. Ladies and gentlemen, let me not bore you, but let me just say that Nexim, which has been in collaboration with all the MSME initiatives under the Office of the Vice President, will continue to support the MSMEs in Nigeria because of the immense role they play in job creation, in building of the economy, and keeping activities within the economy. It is my honor to welcome everybody who is here and also to commit to you our support, our continued support, and as we have been doing all through with you. Thank you very much and welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we are gradually bringing this event to the climax, and to give us a vote of thanks before His Excellency the Vice President speak to us is a man that the MSMEs consider their father. He totally believes that the engine room of any development or economy are the MSMEs, and he's totally committed to them. Farmer, teacher, senator, and a wonderful, committed Nigerian. I'd like to welcome here the Honorable Minister of State for Industry in the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, Senator Owen Eno.
The Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and Chairman of the National MSME Council, His Excellency Senator Kashim Shettima, GCON. The representative of the African Union Commission Chairperson, the Honorable Minister of Trade and Investment, Dr. Jumoke Oduwole, the Deputy Chief of Staff to the President and Chairman of the Host Country Committee, Senator Ibrahim Hassan Hadeja, the Special Advisor to the President on Job Creation and MSMEs, Mr. Temitola Adenkule Johnson, the heads of government agencies present, members of the Diplomatic Corps, the head of cooperation at the EU delegation to Nigeria and ECOWAS, the UNDP resident representative, Ms. Elsie, members of the private sector, the press, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Earlier on, when Elsie spoke, the UNDP representative, and the DG's Medan followed suit in terms of showcasing what they were wearing and giving credence to their homegrown nature. And then we asked a question, how many of us were wearing made in Nigeria and all of that? I said, well, this session is fast becoming a showcase for who we truly are. I had to advise myself. I raised up my hand and I said, well, I'm wearing a made in Nigeria cap. The fabric of my dress may not have been produced in Nigeria, but it was sewn in Nigeria. Therefore, it's part of the patronage of the Nigerian First policy. But having said so, Mr. Vice President, I'd like to thank you very profoundly. Since getting reassigned to be in charge of industry in the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, I've watched leadership up close. I've seen you play leadership and mentorship for the MSME ecosystem in our country. I've traveled with you a few times in the course of your leadership and in the way you've championed the cause of MSMEs in our country. I've watched your passion, I've watched your persuasion, and I think that I'm very encouraged, like all of us in this room are. So I thank you. There is none of these sessions that you've sent a representative. You've made sure that you are personally present. That is the attitude you've continued to demonstrate, and I think that that is the attitude we all must learn, and I think that that is why this place is growing in leaps and bounds. So I thank you even for your personal presence this moment. Without the African Union Commission creating this platform for the exchange of knowledge on MSMEs across the African continent, we will not be gathered here. Therefore, I thank the African Union Commission for their foresight and for recognizing the fact, especially, that with the African Continental Free Trade Area, almost everything that we do in industry, in trade, in investment, has to have an African platform. So I thank the African Union Commission for this and the representative for being here. The Minister of Trade and Investment, you listened to her, and I think that a lot of people in this room would live here with benefit of her deep knowledge of this sector. And why not? In the 8 years of the last administration, she spent it doing this work and promoting the ease of doing business. Today, as Minister of Trade and Investment, she's continued to champion these goals and these ideals. Thank you for that very interesting and insightful session that we just had. The Deputy Chief of Staff to the President, who chaired the hosting committee for this event. We couldn't have had an event more elegantly packaged than what we have. It's a testament to your commitment and your diligence in terms of putting this together. the Special Advisor to the President on Job Creation, Mr. Temitola Johnson. Let me congratulate you. You leave this room with another appointment, another special advisorship. On and on, even before coming to this sector, to this ministry. I mean, you were a delight to watch, and you haven't disappointed. You have continued to do your work as passionately as you've always done. I mean, thank you for this. I mean, it's not a mean feat to hold a conference of this nature, but you've never shied away from any of these. And I think that at the end of the day, when the history of MSMEs is written in this country, you will occupy a pride of place. For all the heads of agencies, I mean, BOI is here, Smidan is here, Nexim is here, that have continued to work very diligently, especially if you look at the theme of this conference. I mean, MSMEs, and then innovation, market access, and affordable financing. It's a no mean job under a climate where the commercial interest rate is soaring to the high heavens, to continue to work every day to keep the rates affordable. So I thank all of you for all the work you've continued to do, NEPC, NIPC, all the agencies in the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, for continuing to do the work that you keep doing. Members of the diplomatic corps, heads of other agencies, that have been present here. I mean, our hope collectively, and especially the hope of the Vice President, our champion, is that the next few days, when the real work has to be done, that at the end of the day, there will be real value for this 4th edition of this council meeting, and that all those who have come for this conference are going to go back to their various countries more enriched in terms of how much we need to collaborate, in terms of how much it continues to matter, in terms of what role our MSMEs continue to play, just so that at the end of the day, when we get it right, our economies, our challenge of job creation and all of that can also get sorted. So I thank everyone else that is in the room for making this event, and I urge that we respond with similar seriousness to the various technical sessions that are part of this conference. I thank all of you again. God bless.
Let's clap for Senator Owan Eno, Honorable Minister of State for Industry. Thank you very much for your insightful address. As my colleague said, we are coming to the climax of this event. And without any further ado, I would like to invite Nonye Ayeni, who is the ED for Nigerian Export Promotion Council. Please kindly make your way to the stage. She will talk to us a little bit about what to expect next, and then we will be having a very exciting keynote by none other but His Excellency the Vice President. Let's put our hands together for Nonye Ayeni, Executive Director, Nigerian Export Promotion Council.
His Excellency, the Vice President of Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Shetima Kashim, the Deputy Chief of Staff for the President, Office of the Vice President, my ministers, Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, the AU chair, the delegates from different African countries, the CEOs of different agencies, ministries, and parastatals, and ladies and gentlemen, diplomatic members of the diplomatic corps, ladies and gentlemen, all other protocols observed. I am highly honored and privileged to take on this segment of this great event. You see, a lot of people have spoken, but this is the beef of the game. We are going to see the test of Africa, the beef of Africa. We are going to lead, if I'm honored, if I'm given the permission to lead, to ask His Excellency to lead this congregation and this team to the exhibition pavilion. You will see what Nigeria is made of. You will see what other countries of Africa is made of. You will see products that cuts across all segments, from fashion to cosmetics, to shoes, to bags, pharmaceuticals, different oils, different things. This is just a snapshot of what we are going to be seeing for the rest of the week. You will see things like what I'm wearing. Everybody's showcasing what this is, fully made in Nigeria. You will see caps, you will see bags, you see a lot. I'm actually so excited. And as we round up, it will be my honor to ask His Excellency, the Vice President, to lead the delegation to the exhibition pavilion. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, Nonye Ayeni, Executive Director at Nigerian Export Promotion Council.
Thank you very much. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, at this point, let me welcome the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Kashim Shettima, GCON.
Un moment de grande importance alors que nous invitons notre orateur principal, son Excellence le sénateur Kashim Shettima, GCON, vice-président de la République fédérale du Nigeria.
Kindly take your seats, please. My cap was made in Maiduguri. My gowns in Lagos by Kenny Jones, and my shoes in Abuja by Shea Body here in Abuja. But sadly, my watch is an Apple Watch, so we are making progress and we'll soon have an African watch. The head of the African Union Commission delegation and Director of Industry, Minerals, Entrepreneurship and Tourism, African Union Commission, Mrs. Ron Usman Umar. The Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Jumoke Oduole, MFR. The Honorable Minister of State for Industry, Senator John Owen Eno. The Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of BOI, Dr. Olashupo Olusi. The Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Export-Import Bank, Mr. Abba Bello. The DG of Smeren, Dr. Charles Odi. The Chief Executive Officer of Nigerian Export Promotion Council, my boss, Mrs. Nonye Ayeni. The permanent representative of Nigeria to Nigeria and ECOWAS, African Union, 6th Region Global Ambassador Apo Labi Oke. The Special Advisor to the President on Job Creation, a very celebrated young man, Mr. Temitola Adekule Johnson, MFR. You are the man of the moment. You are the most celebrated gentleman here. The head of cooperation of the European Union delegation to Nigeria, Mr. Massimo De Luca. I like your hair. When I grow up, I want my hair to be as bushy as your own. and my favorite development partner, the ever-energetic Mrs. Elsie Atapwa. Nigeria no go come last. The Deputy Managing Director of Access Bank, Mrs. Chijoma Okoli. Heads of delegation of Eswatini, Morocco, Zimbabwe, and other members of the diplomatic corps and international organizations present here, senior government officials, development partners, honored guests, members of the fourth estate of the RIM, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. The promise of Africa isn't merely found in the skyscrapers rising in our capitals or the transactions flowing through our stock exchanges. No. The promise of Africa lies in our realization that if we fail to harness the potential of the informal sector, which accounts for nearly 90% of our workforce, we'll keep on going round the same cycle of despair. This gathering, therefore, is a signal that we understand the stake, that we are united by a dream we must realize with our own hands. This is why small enterprises have been at the heart of policy formulation in Nigeria. And in welcoming you to this critical forum, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, assures you of Nigeria's hospitality, of our readiness to learn from one another, and of our determination to agree on the direction we are headed in competing with the rest of the world. MSMEs are more than economic agents. They are our topmost hope. Beyond providing employment to millions, they are engines of inclusive growth and effective tools for poverty alleviation. In Nigeria alone, MSMEs contribute a staggering 48% to our national GDP and provide employment opportunities to over 84% of our workforce. They are a mirror to our future, and they explain why we are deepening our investments to expand the capacity of this sector. From the bustling markets of Cairo to the innovation hubs of Nairobi and Lagos, and from the artisan quarters of Marrakesh to the agricultural processing centers of Accra, MSMEs form the compass in our search for economic balance. Each of us brings to the table unique comparative and absolute advantages shaped by the peculiarities of our nations. That is why we must not only build local infrastructure for entrepreneurial expansion, but must also entrench cross-border cooperation. Our destinies, after all, are bound together. Still, we are not naive about the obstacles that confront our MSMEs. Limited access to affordable finance remains a recurring nightmare. It costs our continent not just money, it costs us momentum. But we must find hopes in the promise of the African continental free trade area. This is why I am particularly excited about the theme of this forum, building resilient MSMEs through digital innovation, market access, and affordable financing for Africa. The timing is perfect. The vision is clear. We have, over the years, witnessed a remarkable surge in digital adoption across the continent. Fintech innovations are redefining payment systems. E-commerce platforms are connecting artisans in forgotten corners to global markets. Technology is doing what politics once struggled to achieve. It is uniting us, empowering us, and restoring dignity to our people. But for the momentum to be sustained, we must rise to our duty as policymakers. That means investing in robust digital infrastructure, bridging the digital literacy gap, and establishing regulatory frameworks that do not stifle innovation. The African Union's recent launch of the Akili AI platform, in partnership with Meta and Deloitte, is a bold step in the right direction. It is a sign that we are not just watching the world change, we are part of the change. Similarly, through the Project Bridge, the Nigerian government is investing $2 billion in Nigeria's connectivity infrastructure by deploying 90,000 kilometers of fiber optic cable to ensure every Nigerian can access affordable, high-quality connectivity regardless of location. For too long, MSMEs have depended on traditional financial institutions that often perceive them as high-risk borrowers. This has deepened the financing gap and limited growth, but change is unfolding. Fintech firms across Africa are now using alternative data to assess creditworthiness and extend microloans to the previously excluded. It is a revolution from below, yet we cannot stop there. Public and private financial institutions must shed all biases and see MSMEs for what they truly are, partners in development. We must establish strong credit guarantee schemes, create blended finance models, and build regulatory environments that reward innovation while protecting customers. This is how we make them bankable. This is how we ensure that they no longer remain confined to the sidelines of local markets. The Deputy Managing Director of Access Bank can give testimony to the fact that they have gotten back nearly 90% of loans extended to MSMEs across the length and breadth of this country. And of course, the AFCFTA is our master key to a billion people economy, and each of us must do our part to make the most of it. Your Excellencies, distinguished delegates, there can be no African prosperity without a strong MSME ecosystem. This forum is a continental call to action. We owe it to ourselves, to our children, and to generations unborn to integrate our informal sector into the framework of formal intra-African trade. I'm confident, I'm absolutely confident, that through our collaborative efforts, this forum will mark a turning point. We hope to see our shared aspirations translated into concrete actions that empower our MSMEs and propel Africa towards a brighter, more sustainable future. Thank you, and I wish you all a productive forum.
We would like to invite all the that are here and have parastatals to please step up and join the Vice President for a group photograph, including the AU representative, please. Okay. Where's the mic?
You haven't given me one.
Immediately after the photograph, we will take the national anthem, and then His Excellency the Vice President will move over to the exhibition place and launch it. Okay, exhibitors, go to the national anthem, please. The first stanza.
Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land. tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians old and proud to serve our sovereign motherland.
Thank you. Thank you very much. His Excellency the Vice President will proceed to the exhibition place with everybody with him on the stage here. He will proceed. The rest of us remain here while the Vice President and all the people who took photograph with him will move over to the exhibition site. Lele.
What a wonderful day it's been, and it's so great that we are coming to the conclusion of today. We'd like to thank the organizers, the African Union, the presidency, the vice president for gracing us today. Thank you all for being with us, SMEs, exhibitors. We appreciate you being with us and thanking you for attending this 4th annual MSME Summit. My name is Lele Balde, and it's been a pleasure to be hosting this event with none other than Mr. Ebere Young. Do have a lovely day and look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye-bye.